I recently came back from a tour of Canada, New Zealand, and Australia, which was awesome, because it turns out that if you choose an art form based on language, you get to fly all over the world to all sorts of strange and exotic places where everyone is white and they all speak English. Again, I am complaining about things that I shouldn't complain about, but I have all sorts of friends that are like variety performers and musicians and magicians. Like what they do, you can get no matter what language you speak. And they get to go to all sorts of cool places. They get to go to like Spain and Singapore and Dubai. And I don't even know where Dubai is, but I know I want to go there because I'm pretty sure they have brown people that aren't locked behind a chain link fence and they weren't taken over by the English 200 years ago for muskets and fucking blankets. You grew up in America, you think the English just pulled that shit here. Nope, turns out they pulled it everywhere they landed a boat. That was the 17th century British property plan, was muskets and blankets. It's beautiful. We're not paying for anything anymore. It's lovely. These people, they've got no concept of ownership. You just get on out there, you get your muskets and your blankets, you get in your boat. You don't even need to know where the boat's going. It's awful. And I shouldn't complain about it, you know, like I'm not famous, nobody knows who I am. If somebody put me on a plane, that's validating. You know, and it just gets frustrating after you do it a little bit and you realize that because your act is in English, that means that you're going to consistently get on a plane for 12 hours, get off a plane, not even know what country you're in, but you know 100% that when you walk into customs, you're going to be staring at a big 4x4 foot picture of the Queen of England just staring at you with that idiot smile of hers, like, welcome to a country I've forgotten I've owned, over and over and over again. Why is there a queen of a first world country in 2013 anyway? That's ridiculous. You know, like, a queen. I'm not saying America has it right, but at least we pretend to count the votes. You know what I mean? You're telling me that a first world country that owns nuclear weapons has actually decided that brothers and sisters marrying is still the correct way to choose a leader. Look, if it's a season finale of Game of Thrones, you can have a queen. You know, if you have dragons, queen, okay. If you're a shirtless barbarian trudging a desert wasteland in search of the stallion that mounts a world, you can have a queen. But if you're a first world country in an era where I can play chess with a 9-year-old in Bangladesh on my cell phone, by the way, checkmate, buddies. You cannot have... You can't tell me that 40 generations of inbreeding is the correct way to choose a leader. That's ridiculous. 40 generations. 40 generations of breeding people together. Dogs can't even make it 100 years before their heart is on the outside. Seriously. There must be an entire wailing wing of Buckingham Palace somewhere. Just... It hurts. What hurts? Life! 40 generations. Do you realize how many mutants these people have to pop out before they stumble across something that even resembles a human being? I'm convinced that that's why you've never actually seen the flesh of the Queen's hands, only those gloves. Because 5 minutes before her television appearances, her handlers are busy stuffing her tentacles inside of them just so she can make a semblance of a human hand. That's why she's got that tight-lipped little smile, because she's expending all of her effort trying to keep her 13 beaks and her 666,000 pulsing, bulging eyeballs from ripping her latex human mask to shreds as she shrieks with the agony of holding herself in the third dimension. Urduck, no eating live babies on Urduck, that's her true name. I like how some of you guys like that, and then you guys back here just looking at me like my teachers in 2nd grade. Well, he's got an imagination. He said that to me in school. He's got an imagination. Like, having an imagination is the worst thing you could possibly have in the public school system. I love my imagination. My imagination has probably kept me from putting a shotgun in my mouth on more than one occasion. You know, like, okay, seriously, my imagination helps me to redefine realities in ways that I find more interesting. Keeps the world a little less boring, you know? Like sure, my definition of the royal family is a little weird. But it's really not that much stranger than the real reason those people are in power. Like, do you want to live in a world where 3 separate countries together still think that marrying cousins together is the correct way to lead them into the future? Or you want to live in a world where the Queen of England is slithering up and down the halls of Buckingham Palace, laying hundreds of thousands of pink goo-soaked eggs that pulse and crack and hatch into tiny little mollusks with Prince Charles ears? That's it for me, guys. Thanks. Have a great night.